So have you been looking at your swimming pool and noticed that there are these little black dots, perhaps by the steps or in the middle of the pool or something? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'm James, the CMO of Doc Dean's Pools, and today we're talking all about black algae. Now, black algae is a real problem when it comes to swimming pools. Of the three more common types of algae that we're going to see, yellow, green, and black, black is by far the most difficult for us to remove. It's often characterized by little black spots when it's in more mild forms, and if you try and brush it off, especially if you have one of these plastic brushes, it just seems to not come off. Now, the reason it doesn't brush off like the other two is because it has a root system that forms into your swimming pool. The part that you can see in the industry is commonly called the cap, and then below the visible cap is an actual root system that gets into the cement of the pool. Now, people often find ways to remove the caps, whether it's using steel wool if you're a homeowner. A lot of professionals ourselves, we use wire brushes. Now, removing the caps is only half of the job when it comes to removing black algae. A lot of people remove that, think they're done. The root system, so long it is in place in the cement, you will have black algae continually come back whenever the chemistry in your pool drops out. So obviously, if you have these things, they're quite unsightly and you want to remove them. Before you go ahead and get yourself a wire brush, you have to do some prep work to make sure that once we do get rid of this black algae, it stays gone for a long period of time. The first thing that we're going to have to do is balance your water chemistry. There's a lot of reasons that black algae can crop up, but one of the kind of overriding factors that almost everybody seems to have is poor water balance. When it comes to balancing your water chemistry, we do have a chemistry basics series here on this channel, but for quick reference, your chlorine level you want to keep between 1 and 3 parts per million. Your pH you want to keep between 7.2 and 7.6 parts per million. Your alkalinity you want between 100 and 140 parts per million. And your cyanuric acid you want between 30 to 50 parts per million. Now, this is your general balance guideline. When we're treating for black algae, it's okay to have your chlorine level a little bit higher into the more shock regions, just to make sure that we have plenty of sanitizer in the water so that we limit any kind of other algae growth while we're treating this black algae. So in this prep, while we are balancing this water chemistry, we don't just want to get it balanced for a week and then immediately start treating. We want to keep the water balanced for several weeks to make sure that the environment that we're going to be working in is the absolute best it can be. There's nothing worse than going through this entire treatment process for black algae to then 2 months' time have it all come back simply because you didn't set yourself up to have success. If you need help getting to these chemistry ranges, I will link the videos below, as well as the dosing guides that we have over on docdeanspools.com. So once your water's been balanced for several weeks, the next thing that we need to do is spot treat the algae itself. And that begins with brushing the cap and removing the cap off of the black algae. Your plastic brush is not going to be good enough to do this, and in fact most of your combo brushes, which are the ones with the plastic and the metal bristles, won't be enough. You need to get a full steel wire brush and go at it really hard and make sure that we can get this cap off and expose that root system. Once the cap is removed and the roots are exposed, what we need to do is get a chlorine stick. Yes, the tab or the puck, whatever you have in your region, you need to take that and you need to physically scrub on the area where that black algae was. What that's going to do is get this super strong chlorine directly into the roots, and that's going to be your best bet of killing it. Now, you can use granular chlorine if you like a granular trichlor, but in our experience, it's quite difficult to get that over small patches of where the black algae is. If you have a fair amount over, say, like the steps or the swim out or like right on the turn of a wall or something, you can get away with it, but we still recommend using a stick or a chlorine puck to get directly onto the roots and scrubbing away at it. Now, once you've treated the roots, we recommend going and servicing the pool as normal, brushing the tiles, brushing the walls, brush the steps, even brush where the roots were, vacuum the pool if you need to, net everything off and clean the filter for sure. Once you've completed this service, we recommend using a sequestrant like Jack's Magic Magenta and shocking the pool to make sure that you're not going to have any problems for the next week. And then once you've done this, it's a matter of managing and doing some good aftercare. Make sure that you keep your water balanced with some weekly chemistry checks. If you notice any spots beginning to reappear, just repeat the steps that we just went through. So we're going to hit the cap with a brush to remove the cap, we're going to hit the roots with a trichlor stick, and then we're going to service the pool, clean the filter, enter and shock the pool again. Now typically once you do get black algae, the aftercare is preventative maintenance, and the biggest way that you can do this, there's two things that you can do. Make sure that your filters stay clean and make sure that the water chemistry remains balanced. What causes black algae to accelerate its growth is when we have a lack of sanitizer and the pH and the alkalinity are all out of whack. It just creates a better environment for this algae to grow, and as we just went through, it's pretty difficult to get rid of. But pretty difficult does not mean it is impossible. If you follow these steps, you will definitely be able to get rid of those unsightly black marks and start enjoying your pool again. As we said before, if you've got any questions about how to balance that chemistry, if you head to the Doc Dean's Pools YouTube channel or go to docdeanspools.com and check out the blog, you can see our Chemistry Basics series where we basically cover all of this stuff and it will answer all your questions for you. I'm James, the CMO of Doc Dean's Pools, and I'll catch you in the next one.